Episode 30. Now become that man. 30 episodes ago, we started with one simple thought. Something's off. Not because life had completely fallen apart, but because somewhere inside you knew you weren't becoming the man you're created to be. That's where this journey started. Not with answers, with honesty. Since then, we've talked about truth, patterns, fear, shame, attention, healing, peace, identity, the masks we wear, the stories we tell ourselves, the people around us, the things we're carrying that were never ours to carry. And if you stayed with me this far, I hope that you've noticed something. None of these episodes were really about fixing your life. They were about revealing your life. Because before a man can become who God created him to be, he usually has to stop pretending to be someone else. And that's the journey. It's not about adding more, removing what never belonged. The fear, the performance, the striving, the lies, the masks, the stories, the need to control everything. One by one, these things begin to fall away, and underneath all of it, something beautiful starts to appear. Not a new man, just the real one. The one God knew before the world told you who you needed to be. And brother, I don't believe God is asking you to become somebody else. I believe He's inviting you to come home. Home to who He created you to be. Because if we're being honest, most of us have spent years living for ourselves, building our kingdoms, protecting our image, chasing success, trying to prove our worth, trying to earn what was already freely offered. And no matter how much we achieve, something still feels empty. I know that feeling, that hole, that no matter what I stuffed it with, would never make me feel satisfied, would never make me feel whole, because I've lived it. And then something changed, and it wasn't overnight. It was one surrender at a time. We've talked a lot about layers, and there's just so many layers to surrendering as well. One honest conversation at a time. One layer at a time. I stopped asking, what do I want from life? And started asking, Lord, who are you calling me to become? That question has really changed how I live my life. It started revolving around Him. And here's the great discovery for me. The more I stopped living for myself, the more alive I became. And that's the great paradox of the gospel. Jesus said, whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. And for years I thought that sounded like losing. Now I know it's the only way a man is ever truly found. So brother, listen, the world doesn't need another angry dude. It doesn't need another cynical man, another distracted guy, another man obsessed with himself and his trappings, another man chasing more while quietly feeling less. The world needs men who know who they are. Men who have learned to think differently. Men who lead with peace instead of fear. Men who tell the truth. Men who love deeply. Men who keep their word. Men who forgive. Men who are humble enough to admit when they're wrong. And men who quietly become examples of the kingdom without needing applause. That's the sovereign mindset. Not power over people, power over yourself. Not ruling others, ruling your own thoughts, your own attention, your own heart. Living under the authority of the only king worthy of it, Jesus. Maybe that's what Resurrection Kings has really been about all along, not resurrecting your career, not resurrecting your bank account, not resurrecting your image, but resurrecting the man underneath it all. The son, the husband, the father, the friend, the builder, the servant, the man God imagined when he created you. And dude, your family needs that man. Your community needs that man. There's so many spaces and places, your workplace, your business needs that man. The world desperately needs that man. Not because you'll change the whole world, but because you'll change the world God placed around you. One conversation, one decision, one act of obedience, one life at a time. Listen, Scripture says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We've talked about this verse several times through these first 30 podcasts from Romans 12:2. And that's what we've been doing here together, not becoming more religious. I'm not asking you to become religious. I'm not telling you to go join a church. It's about renewing the way that we think, seeing ourselves the way God sees us, learning to live from truth instead of fear. And brother, this isn't the end, it's just the beginning, because now you know what's been keeping you stuck. You know the lies, you know the masks, you know the stories, the old patterns. And now the question, it really gets really simple. I've told you so many times that for me, when I've boiled this down, it's been simple. Not easy, but it's been simple. And the simple question is this: what kind of man are you going to become? Not tomorrow, but today. Because the world doesn't need another man trying harder. It needs a man who's finally surrendered. A man who knows whose he is. A man who walks with God. A man who quietly helps other people rise. Brother, be that man. If these first 30 episodes helped you recognize yourself somewhere along the journey, I want to invite you to keep walking. Everything we've built is waiting for you at resurrectionkings.com. The podcast, the Real Fight Field Guide, the Sovereign Mindset app, and if you're ready for someone to walk alongside you, the coaching path. Not because you need another program, but because none of us were meant to become the men God created us to be all alone. So thank you for trusting me with your time. Thank you for walking this road with me. Now go become that man. And brother, listen up. We're just getting started.